And we are getting reaction this morning. The presidential race that Donald Trump leads by a wider margin from. We have heard updates from both the Donald Trump campaign and Kamala Harris's campaigns overnight.
NBC News has not yet declared Donald Trump the winner, as the final results from states do continue to be counted. However, he claimed victory while speaking to supporters in Florida early this morning.
Every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Donald Trump's running mate, U.S. Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio, joined him on stage. Trump even turned the microphone over to Vance, who addressed that crowd in Florida.
And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
And we are taking a closer look at how Donald Trump gained this large lead close to that 270 number needed to win the presidential election.
Our co-anchor Stephen Albritton is breaking down those numbers for us this morning. We know a lot of people had to go to sleep, Stephen, and a lot happened overnight, with many key states falling to Donald Trump in his favor.
Yeah, just about 3 hours ago, Pennsylvania went in his favor. So let's look at the Electoral College count as we see it right about now. 266 to 219 in favor of the former president. This has always been a focus, those swing states and that big prize taken early this morning in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania right now, where the numbers line up. 51, 48, 96% recorded. Remember, it was Joe Biden taking Pennsylvania back in 2020 that put him over the top. Moving on, we talk about the blue wall states. It's a collection of states that Democrats have really held traditionally over the past few years. Michigan was one of those. It went red for Trump way back when, turned back blue. But while we are waiting on an official tally here, it appears Trump will be taking down Michigan again. Moving on to Wisconsin. It's one of those other blue wall states. It is yet to be called, but still Trump leading here. 51 to 48%, 93% reporting. The Kamala Harris campaign addressed supporters at their watch party at Howard University.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken.
The Harris campaign says she plans to return to Howard University this morning, and then she will address the nation.
Another major storyline that involves our region is control of Congress. Republicans are projected to win control of the U.S. Senate.
As of right now, there are 51 Republicans after flipping 2 seats red, 41 Democrats securing their seat. 8 seats still in play here. Several House seats are still up for grabs, but Republicans leading with 200 seats, 173 Democrats right now in the House, and these races could take a lot longer to officially decide.
Yeah, it could be days or potentially weeks. So one of the key races that gives Republicans control of the Senate happened here in Ohio.
Yeah, so longtime Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown lost his seat to Republican challenger Bernie Moreno. Moreno is projected to win with just over 50% of that vote. And WLWT News 5's Giacomo Luca tracking reaction to this high-stakes race. Giacomo.
Yeah, Megan, absolutely. Very high stakes race. It was one of the most expensive in the entire country, one of the most expensive U.S. Senate races in history, as Republicans fought to flip control of that narrowly held Democratic majority in the U.S. Senate. This Moreno win is actually going to end Brown's effort to secure a 4th consecutive term. This is only his 2nd time running for office. He had previously run for Senate back in 2021, but dropped out, now becoming a major upset. Moreno's campaign consistently outspent Democrats during the race, chipping away at Brown's early lead. Both Brown and Moreno addressed their supporters overnight.
We celebrate tonight not as Republicans. We celebrate tonight as Americans. And to the people out there in Ohio who didn't vote for me, just know that I will always advocate for you. I will always have your back, and I will work for the next 6 years to win you over.
We may be tempted to say hope was not enough. We might be tempted to second guess ourselves and question whether we worked hard enough or long enough. That is not our story tonight.
Now, Moreno, the son of Colombian immigrants, will become the first Latino to represent Ohio in the U.S. Senate. We're live downtown. Giacomo Luca, WLWT News 5.
All right, Giacomo, thank you. And we are hearing this morning from Congressman Greg Landsman, who is projected to keep his seat in Ohio's 1st District. He pulled in 54% of the vote over Republican challenger Orlando Sanza. Landsman spoke one-on-one with WLWT about his priorities for his next term.
Got to fix the economy. I mean, right now the disparities in wealth, it's too much. We got to get back to investing in the middle class. We got to fix the tax code to do that and get, a budget that is both balanced and is investing in working people in the middle class. That's what the American people want, and hopefully there's bipartisan support for that.
Another closely watched item on the ballot in Ohio, an effort to change the state's political process was shot down by voters. Issue 1 would have removed politicians from the map-making process and instead replaced them with a panel of citizens. More than 54% of voters decided against that measure. Despite concerns the wording chosen for that measure was confusing, opponents still say Issue 1, that change, wasn't needed.
In the last 8 years, Ohioans have put new reforms into the state constitution, which allows for better maps to be drawn. And this set of maps now was approved by a bipartisan majority. So I think people can expect better.
Across the river, Kentuckians voting against Amendment 2. The measure would have allowed the possibility for private school vouchers. That ballot measure failed by a wide margin. Almost 65% voted no. Remember, you can see a full list of election results from the national races impacting you all the way to our local issues in your own neighborhood. We have results at the bottom of your screen all morning. You can also scan the QR code on your screen. That'll take you to our complete guide on WLWT.com. We'll have much more reaction and results coming up throughout the morning.